Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and I am ready to do my comic review for the week for comics that came out April 18th, 2012. Before I get into this week's comics, I want to bring up an item that was given to me as sort of a late birthday present. Don't ask me when my birthday is, but from a friend of mine. I don't know, he saw this, he thought I might like it. It's actually not bad. It's DC Comics, the New 52 presents The Dark, and basically what it is, it's it's a collection of the number ones of Justice League Dark, Animal Man, I, Vampire, and Swamp Thing. And it's not bad. I mean, it's not a bad collection because it does offer, don't forget, a lot of the number ones did go back for second printings, and, well, this does give you the chance to, check out 4 of the new series that were being advertised, and some, Justice League Dark, Animal Man, and Swamp Thing are getting tons of positive reviews, and you weren't sure whether or not you would like this sort of thing. Well, I think this is something that I could give someone, who was trying to, want just, maybe a taste of it before they decide whether or not to get the series. Although, really, in, next month, I think, over the next few months, I think the trades are coming out, so, there's that too. But this kind of gives you, sort of a taste in case you did miss out on number one and they've been too expensive to find online, and you can just get this instead. I mean, it's $8 and it's 4 comics for $8, which is really $2 per number one. Not that bad. I definitely would recommend this to people. I mean, I'd lend it to them if they were curious about Animal Man or Swamp Thing or Justice League Dark or I, Vampire. I mean, it wasn't really that bad. It gave me a taste of what some of these series are, and I already read Animal Man number 1, but Swamp Thing number 1 and Justice League Dark number 1 were pretty great. I'm not saying I want to get those series anytime soon, but that's just something that, I might look for in maybe the far, far future when I have more money. Okay, now for the actual comic reviews of this week. Starting with Image, Super Dinosaur number 10. Basically what happens is Dr. Dynamo and Max helps Maximus escape his prison in the Dinodome so that Maximus will return Dr. Dynamo's wife. And also Super Dinosaur gets into a fight with the Rogue Dino Men. And the reason I say Rogue Dino Men is because there's one group of Dino Men that works for Maximus and another group that works on their own. They work for this other guy called Exile. I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, Super Dinosaur goes to fight the Rogue Dino Men by himself initially, but then Derek's friend Aaron and her little wheel robot, own version of the little wheel robot Pixie, follow SD along on the adventure. And while the battle's going on, SD's kind of worried because he has to protect Aaron because she doesn't have any combat training, and also he's trying to hold off and he's basically in a fight with, you can see the shadow here of the Dinoman Triceratops, and basically she's just, because SD's distracted, he practically loses the fight. I mean, his harness is destroyed, and meanwhile, while this is going on, Derek has been asked to speak to their prison, I think the government's prison, the Exile. Yeah, they caught Exile last issue, and now he's being held prisoner. And when Derek goes to talk to Exile, Exile's using his armor to hack into the system, and he's able to escape. And apparently, Exile is part of this species called the Reptiloids, and he says that their kind will soon take over the Earth and become the dominant species. And he says he's going to take Derek with him back to his home base. So that's how it ends. Not bad, really. It does kind of show that SD, even though Super Dinosaur is incredibly awesome, he still needs, Derek with him, because Derek does help out a lot in battle. And also that Derek is a smart kid. Again, Exile was able to see that, so he decides that, I'm going to take this kid. He's obviously a genius and very important, so that's why. Still, it's pretty much a typical all-ages book. It's something fun you can give a younger reader, someone who wants to get into comic books. That, I read it just because of, its simplicity and lightheartedness. That it's not as serious as most of the other comics I get. And speaking of serious stuff, let's move on to DC. I'm actually taking a page from Chris, Dark Avenger CA6's rule book, where now he's doing DC instead of DC first instead of Marvel, because he gets more Marvel now. So this week I had more Marvel books than DC books, so I decided, I'm going to let DC. I might alternate the two depending on which company I bought more books from per week. So this week I only have 2 DC books and 4 Marvel. So let's start with the DCs. First of all, Batman number 8. Wayne Manor is under attack by the Court of Owls. There's towns coming everywhere. Bruce Wayne's doing his best to fight them off, but then he and Alfred are forced to retreat into the armory of the Batcave, and now the Court of Owls knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And you're probably asking yourself, wait, they now realized it? Yeah, because the towns were all being sent to attack because Alfred hacks into one of the... Actually, Bruce... Okay, the way it works is Bruce is able to pin one of the towns down, hacks into his armor, steals a flash drive off the armor. Then Alfred hacks into it, and Alfred figures out that that the court is sending practically all their towns across Gotham City to take out all the public figures in Gotham, like Commissioner Gordon, Mayor Hill, a ton of public officials and police officers, and pretty important people in Gotham. And Batman and Alfred are pretty much retreating into the armory, and Bruce then dons this new and pretty much the issue ends with Bruce donning this whole Batman mecha suit. It's like this super Batman armor that he puts on, and he pretty much tells the court, get out of my house. So, yeah, you break into Batman's house, you're going to get your ass kicked. That's all I'm saying. And Alfred then realizes that Gotham is in grave danger, so he pretty much pulls out all the stops and contacts every member of the Batman family available and tells them that Gotham City is under attack. We need to stop these assassins. They're coming everywhere and they need help. So yeah, so now officially the Night of Owls crossover has begun. This is for the rest of, this is pretty much going to happen all over May. For the next month, almost every Bat title is going to be involved in the Court of Owls. It's going to have a different member of the Bat family fighting a talon, pretty much fighting one of the talons and defending Gotham City. I wouldn't say it's pretty much like something that connects the Bat books as a whole, but still, they're all Batman books. They're already connected. And I wouldn't say this is a crossover where you need to buy every single one of the books to get it, right? Pretty much the core of this story, I believe, is told in the issues of Batman and Nightwing. As for me, I'm just sticking with Batman. I'm not going to... It sounds great, but I don't think I'm going to go out and buy almost every other Bat title out there just for this story. I think I'm just going to stick this story the way it is in Batman for now. Would this be a good excuse for me to buy Nightwing? I thought so, but... I just didn't have the money right now to be able to afford that. So I decided against it. Well, I didn't really have the money because I was planning on getting a few more issues involved with Avengers vs. X-Men and stuff going on with Marvel. Yeah, but still, Batman number 8, this is a great way to kick off the Night of Owls storyline. Scott Snyder's still doing an amazing job on this title. If you have not picked up this book, please get it now, because this is pretty much the main big Batman crossover starting here. Read it, check it out. And if you can, get Nightwing to go along with it, because in the back of the book, DC has these sort of summary things to talk about the comics franchise. The certain franchise, in this case Batman. They're saying that basically the main issues do sort of take place in Nightwing and Batman, but if you get the chance, it's something else that you can enjoy in your other Bat titles. Still, this is a great comic. I would highly recommend it. Okay, I've been rambling too much about Batman. Time to move on to Justice League. Alright. Okay, now, since we're still in the present, we've skipped 5 years since the first story arc. Apparently, ever since the Justice League was founded, they have not expanded their roster. It's always been the same 7 members. So Green Arrow now Green Arrow is trying to be the first hero to join the Justice League as a non-founder. And basically the issues about like Green Arrow turning up, pretty much showing up where the Justice League is fighting evil and stuff. And he's lending a hand like, yeah, I helped you guys. Could I join your team? He's like the annoying kid. Okay, you know how if, say, in elementary school you had your group of friends, you were all close and stuff, and then there'd be like this one kid who would like try to join your group, like, you just really didn't want. I mean, he seems nice enough, but you don't want him to mess with the group dynamic. That's what you don't want. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it, you're good, but we just don't want you on the team right now. That's all. And so, after Green Arrow gets rejected for like the third time, Steve Trevor contacts him and confronts Green Arrow and tells him that, you know what, the Justice League probably won't let you on, but I have this other team that I think you might be perfect for. And Green Arrow says, I'm listening. And then back on the Watchtower, so the guys were talking, the leaks were talking, and Superman and Flash are kind of like, maybe we should add some new members. I mean, we could definitely expand the roster. We have to protect the entire planet. But then Batman says, no, all right, that is a terrible idea. We invited one other hero back on the Watchtower, and that was a disaster. And we do get a flashback to who they invited. And I'm not going to say the name. I don't want to say the name because it was a little bit of a shocker for me about who they had and how it ended in disaster. And I think that's something that I would definitely recommend for the readers to read this issue to find out. Because I was like, wait, it was him? Wow, what happened? That seems to be something that Jeff Johns does. He puts these new ideas into a comic, and then it leaves you with more questions that you really want answered. So that's a good thing. So that's a good thing for Jeff Johns writing Justice League right now. But yeah, so now but here's the thing though. When Jeff Johns was talking about the Justice League book, he said that there were going to be more members, not just the 7, but also Green Arrow, Hawkman, Atom, who else? Lady Luck, Element Woman. I can't really think of them all off the top of my head. So that's another question I want to know. When will these other heroes join the team, and how will it work? Oh, Mara. Forgot about Mara. She's joined too, but that's besides the point. We're kind of left with more questions now about why the League won't let anyone in and what's going to happen now. Okay, and also, Justice League did have the Shazam co-feature. All that happens is Billy Baxton is taken to his new foster home and he meets his foster siblings. That's it. And it's given us the impression more that Billy is not exactly as kind-hearted or the golden kid that he was back in the Golden Age or previously portrayed. Now he just seems knocked down a dozen pegs, in a lot of people's opinions. But still, for the main Justice League story, it was pretty interesting. I would really recommend it. Right. Moving right along. Time for Marvel. Incredible Hulk number 7. Bruce Banner is dead. He's dead. It was a gamma bomb. Bruce Banner is dead, and Hulk survives. And Hulk then and after that's done, Hulk goes and confronts Dr. Doom, asking Doom, what the hell did you do to Banner? Why did you make him insane? And then Doom says, he did nothing. Banner went insane because you were separated from him. Okay? Banner always had an anger problem, but the Hulk was his outlet. The Hulk was the thing he could blame it on. Give him, a little bit of focus to say, Banner just going, it's because of the Hulk, I'm always angry. That's why. But without the Hulk, it made Banner insane. And that ultimately led to Banner's demise. And in the end, though, even though Hulk did get what he wanted, where with Banner dead, the Hulk still feels some remorse over Banner's death. I'm not saying he's all sad about it. He's just like, it feels like a piece of him died too that day. But, the first story arc is done now, so I'm not getting the Incredible Hulk. I mean, I thought I would probably stay on the series full time, but I'm not really much of a Hulk fan. I mean, I only got this because of the whole Banner-Hulk separation storyline. That sounded interesting to me, and now that's done, I feel like my interest in the Hulk has ended here. So, I'm dropping the Hulk. Alright, now, another Marvel book that I really have enjoyed, Wolverine and the X-Men, number 9. The Jean Grey School has now figured out that the Phoenix Force is coming to Earth. Beast's sensors goes off. Quentin Quire and Rachel Grey sense the Phoenix telepathically and puts them both into comas. Captain America shows up on the school's doorsteps and he tells Hank and Wolverine the plan with the Avengers. And of course, Beast automatically volunteers for joining Captain America's Avengers in space team that's going to confront the Phoenix right before it hits the planet. And when Captain America talks to Logan about the Phoenix Force, about whether or not he would join the X-Men or Avengers in this little feud, Wolverine says that his main priority is just to defend the school. So he thinks it will probably be so right now Wolverine thinks it will probably be best to join the Avengers in their strike on Utopia. And that's pretty much what we get. Beast and Wolverine have decided to go on the Avengers, and they're heading off to stop the Phoenix. This is a very interesting story because Logan does agree to go with Captain America to Utopia, I don't think his choice of Team Avenger or X-Men is really clear. Because Wolverine says his main priority is to defend the school. He doesn't say, like, I want to stop the Phoenix or I want the Phoenix to enter Hope or anything. I feel like Wolverine hasn't really picked a side because this is a big issue for him. Well, yeah, he's been associated with the Avengers for the last few years. He's been in X-Men almost his entire life. Well, okay, maybe not his entire life, but for most of the time he's been in comics. And he's well associated with them. And in a way, it's like he is turning his... in a way, if he does go with the Avengers, it is kind of like he's turning his back on the mutant race. I mean, it's definitely a harder choice for Wolverine than I guess it is for Beast, because the schism directly involved Logan. Beast, he pretty much cut off all ties to Cyclops way before the schism happened. Okay? So, I think at first Wolverine is going to be on the Avengers side, but I think he might slowly move back to the X-Men just for the sake of the mutants, because Marvel has put out several teasers where Logan is fighting Captain America. So, that might happen. Alright, but let's move on to the main event here. Avengers vs. X-Men Round 2! The siege on Utopia Beach is continuing. We've got mutants versus Avengers going at it. And right when Iron Man fights Magneto, and before you say and before you go, oh, Magneto's gonna win because Iron Man has metal armor. Yeah, you're forgetting the fact that Tony Stark is a freaking genius. Okay? So Tony does have a few ways around Magneto's tricks, and right when he's fighting Magneto, Quicksilver shows up and punches Magneto right in the jaw. So Quicksilver is in the battle, and he's chosen the Avengers side, which makes perfect sense because even though Quicksilver has been shown in a lot of X-Men cartoons, in the comics he's always been more of an Avenger. Alright, so Quicksilver enters the fray, but Wanda, Scarlet Witch, is still back at her apartment, kind of watching the battle on TV, but then she turns it off, and that's all we get from Wanda. Anyways, back to the battle. Mutants and Avengers going at it. While this is happening, most of the mutants knows that Wolverine is on the Avengers team, and they are a little shocked by this. And Logan's just going at it, and then... Oh yeah, and here's something very interesting. Storm and Black Panther meet each other on the battlefield, and there is definitely some marital problems there. Yeah, Storm and Black Panther are married, in case you didn't know that. But it's funny because Storm does mention, this is why we have a marriage counselor. Wow, that is definitely something. Wow, I really hope that for this event it doesn't end in Storm and Black Panther getting a divorce. I don't think that would help anyone if that came out of this. But back to the story. While the battle's going on, Wolverine and Spider-Man manage to sneak to the other side of the island, and they break into the building where Hope is being held, and they find her. But Hope has gotten a lot more powerful now because she reveals to the guys that as the Phoenix is getting close to Earth, her powers are increasing. And so she quickly knocks out Wolverine and Spider-Man, then then pretty much gets the hell out of Utopia. And the issue ends with the Avengers space team with Beast and Thor and everyone right in space, and the Phoenix is getting ready, and they're getting ready to face the Phoenix Force. In case you're wondering what's going on with that team, that story is going to be told in Secret Avengers, which is coming out next week. Can't wait to read that. Avengers vs. X-Men Round 2. Well, I think this is exactly defines the event. It's Avengers fighting X-Men. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. There's tons of action. There's definitely some tension, like I said, with how the relationships, like Storm and Black Panther, Wolverine, and the other X-Men, there are definitely strong hints to that, and it was a very good issue. And this was a lot better than number 1, because number 1 was just like talk. This one, action, great. Oh yeah, and also, for all you people who hate Cyclops, good news, Cap dented Cyclops' visor when he threw the shield at him. That was great. Alright, last comic. Definitely one of my favorites. Amazing Spider-Man 684. Alright, continuing from last issue, Silver Sable is able to get onto the island, and she's able to save Black Widow and Spider-Man from the clutches of the Sinister Six. However, all the other Avengers are captured by the Sinister Six. And then the scene shifts to the World Summit with Doc Ock talking to the world leaders, and he says now that they pretty much voted that they are going to use Doc Ock's technology, Dr. Octopus says, okay, time to talk about payment. And this is pretty much Doc Ock's list of demands. $2 billion for each member of the Sinister Six, and a full pardon for each one of them. And for Doc Ock himself, he's dying. What does he want? He wants pretty much like a science institute built in his honor. He pretty much wants the Otto Octavius Science Learning Center. Alright, and while the summit is going on, one of the ambassadors to Silver Sable's country, because she's like a queen or some high position of government, secretly informs Sable that Doc Ock's plan is moving forward, and he does know of the location of one of the factories that they could probably hit up to put a dent in Doc Ock's plans, and they find out it's in the Sahara Desert. And right when this is going on, though, Spider-Man is contacted by Horizon Labs using the communicator device Spider-Man gave to Grady a few issues ago with that whole time door thing. And now, with the help of the brain trust from Horizon, Spider-Man is able to rebuild another device that could definitely help him in his battle against Sandman. Yeah, okay, he's fighting Sandman, because, you can figure that out a mile away. Sahara Desert, come on, who's Doc Ock gonna have Spider-Man fight there? Rhino? So they go to the factory, and they see all the Octobots working, packaging up, carrying boxes, but they find out it's empty, and it was all set up. Right when they do that, Sandman attacks! And they're in the middle of the Sahara Desert, so Sandman's definitely larger than life, but Spidey developed a really interesting trick, and this is where I gotta give my props to Dan Slott, the writer of this. Apparently the way Sandman's powers work is there's one grain of sand that holds the consciousness of Flint and Marko, like one little grain of sand that's able to reach out to all the other ones in order to maintain his form. So Spider-Man is able to use some new visors in his helmet, and he's able to locate the master grain, and he's able to pull it out, and he's basically able to capture it in lead-lined webbing, and that's the end of and Sandman's down. And since Electro was sent into space last issue, there's only about 4 members of the Sinister Six left. Now, but right after Spider-Man defeats Sandman, Doc Ock once again speaks at the summit and says that Spider-Man is putting a halt to Spider-Man's actions have officially... because of Spider-Man's action, they should officially declare him a global terrorist. So now, pretty much, Doc Ock has all the world leaders on his side, and he's getting them to turn the entire world against Spider-Man. What a world. Okay, well, again, Amazing Spider-Man. I really love this comic since Dan Slott, and Ends of the Earth is really, really great, especially with that whole Sandman thing. I mean, the Master Grain, that was just pretty great. I mean, it is really obvious when you think about it. I mean, that idea never really occurred to me when I thought of Sandman. I never thought it was just, I mean, it is obvious when you think about it, but it just never really occurred to me before when I was reading about Sandman that, wait, there's probably one single grain of sand. I mean, hearing it with this, it makes so much sense. I mean, that was clever, Mr. Slott. I thank you, and I really have a hard time deciding comic of the week because I want to say, okay, I'm just going to be fair. Comic of the week, it's tied Batman #8 and Amazing Spider-Man 684. Sorry. Yeah, they're both tied for comic of the week. I really, really enjoyed these comics. They're great. So, yeah, okay. That pretty much concludes my comic review. Quick rundown. Amazing Spider-Man 684. Great. Ends of the Earth is still going strong. Dan Slott's a great writer. Definitely if you're not picking this book up, you should be picking up now. It's great. Avengers vs. X-Men Round 2. Really loving this miniseries so far. This has a lot more action than the first issue. It pretty much describes what the event is. Avengers fighting X-Men. Wolverine and the X-Men #9. Very great how it gives a little insight into how this is a tough decision for Wolverine in terms of he's either going to side with the Avengers who want to stop the Phoenix Force or turn his back or have to side with the mutants who are people he's known for most of his career as Wolverine. Incredible Hulk #7. Banner is dead. Hulk is alive. I'm done with this series. Justice League #8. The League hasn't let in any new members since it was founded. This gives you a little insight as to what happened. And Batman #8. Night of the Owls begins. Really am looking forward to the rest of this. Can't wait. And Super Dinosaur #10. Still a fun all ages book for the younger reader. Okay. And that's my comic review for the week. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.